G'day and welcome to the Grow a Small Business Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Truen. Each week, we speak with an owner who has grown a business with 5 to 30 team members to something bigger. Diving into their numbers and unearthing the pain they've experienced, we explore what they did to overcome each barrier and what they would do differently from day one. Let's get into it. Welcome, everyone. Today I'm interviewing Jennifer Seeno Tucker from eXp Realty, based in New York City, USA. Thanks for your time today, Jennifer.
Hey, Troy, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Sorry, it's a bit late over there after 8 o'clock at night.
It sure is.
Let's start with how we know each other. So someone on your PR team reached out and thought it'd be great to have you on the cast.
Well, yeah, I think that's how we met. Emily reached out. She thought it would be a good fit for me to kind of give some tips to some of your entrepreneurs out there.
Yeah, great. Tell our audience a bit about your business, what it does and how it makes money.
Yeah, so I'm a local real estate here in the Metro New York area. How we make money is really selling houses, but that it can be tricky at times. It's easy to sell homes in a market like this here in New York, where things are just flying off the shelves left and right. But we're starting to see a little bit of a turn. Things are slowing down. There's more and more inventory coming to the market. So I think what that's going to do is weed out some of our agents, which most of us need to really be prepared for the next swing in things here in any sales market, which is going to happen.
Yeah, because there's a lot of bust and boom times, aren't there, up and down in real estate?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, typically we see, the natural trend is every 10 to 12 years that the market shifts.
Yep.
But we've overextended those 12 years here as things have been rising since, the 2007, 2008 plummet. Things have been continually rising, but I think we're really time for us to kind of hit a little bit of a bottom.
Yeah, right. And how did you start out?
That's a really good question. I was born and raised in the business. My mom's been in real estate for 35 years, is still working in the business as well. So it was just my natural kind of gravitation to go into it. I always had this feeling that I wanted to be my own entrepreneur, but I was a good girl and listened to mom and dad, went to college and became a teacher first before I decided that I did not like seeing X's and red circles around my lesson plans that I was handing in to my administrators, and the 9 to 5 just wasn't working for me. I needed more freedom in my time, freedom in my day, and freedom from 500 children.
Yeah. I've got one. I couldn't imagine having to wrangle 500.
So.
And what year did you decide to make the jump, and how old were you then?
I came into real estate into 2012 is when I've been licensed since. What made me jump into it was really, wanting that financial freedom for myself. The paycheck job was great. There was stability there, and then I knew what my income would be, but I didn't see it as a path to wealth. Yeah. I thought it really would hold me back, and I envisioned my life even then, in my 40s, to kind of have a little bit more than what was happening.
Right. Yep. So 2012, 9 years ago now. So you were early 40s then? Yes. Yeah, great. And do you have some key numbers you can share to illustrate the growth of the business?
Yeah, sure. 100%. I mean, last year during COVID was actually one of my best years. I was able to produce 30 transactions and sold over 18 million in volume.
Wow.
I 3x'd my income from 2 years before that.
Yep. So
that was a pretty big growth for me, and I'm on track this year to do about in commissions 50,000 more in commissions than last year.
Right. Well done.
I've really focused on attending to people who have my product, and those are homeowners. So those who have the product are really the best clients.
Yep. And I guess, again, boom and bust. So when it's booming, you've just got to work those extra hours, make hay while the sun shines, and ready for the quiet bust times.
Right. I mean, I've been preparing for, some kind of lag here, and getting my business pipeline ready, for when the shit's going to hit the fan. But yeah, every year, even as an agent in my early career, it's like, can this really sustain itself? Can this really sustain itself? And it has been, I think, because our government here has been pumping money into the economy, and that's how it's been sustaining itself. But there has to come a point where the bottom just falls out, and it's just a matter of holding our breath until when it does.
Yeah, absolutely. So what about full-time equivalent team members now and when you started?
Yeah, well, when I started, my mom was my mentor. So I really was her, I started out as her buyer's agent, and I was just the legs of the operation. And after over time, I became a listing agent, and that's when she opened up her own brokerage, and I obviously went along with her. And kind of started my own, and I was partnering with people within our office, because I saw people as a way for me to leverage more time. As a single mom at the time, I needed to be in multiple places, and people were calling me left and right. And I still needed to be home and put, steak on the table for my daughter.
Yeah.
So I was able to leverage partners within the business. And that's when I realized that people were really the way to go. I continued to list and do really well in my listings as I grew, and my business grew and grew. So I hired on an assistant, and basically I really don't have any team members. And I don't look at them as teams. I think people, or at least in real estate, see teams as this pyramid thing, where there are lower level workers that do the jobs that you don't like. I see my other realtors as my peers.
Yeah.
So they're on the same level as me, and that relationship is more important to me, where I'm still able to utilize them for my time to be home and other things.
Right.
But the administrative assistant has been the most beneficial for me to grow my business.
So including those partners, what kind of full-time equivalent would you have now?
Full-time equivalent partners, I mean, they do receive leads from me.
Yeah.
In that sense. So again, there are other real estate agents that I basically partner with within our brokerage, where I'm able to utilize their time as young legs of the operation to really, really do a lot of running for me.
Great. When was the moment you felt like you'd succeeded?
Oh, that's a good question. What was the moment?
Yep.
I'm not an awards person, but I have to say this past year, when within our regional company, I was the top listing agent, top producing agent, and I closed the most commissions in the brokerage. I think that was like this moment where I like, yeah, Jen, you're really good at what you do.
Yeah.
It was kind of this enlightening moment. And I was like, okay, now what's next? How do I top this? What do I need to do? And that's what I'm doing right now, as I change brokerages and saw another platform that's going to work for me to grow even into the 7 figures. Because we need multiple streams of income in order to become wealthy.
Yep.
And this platform with this new brokerage really offers that for me.
Yeah. And I think as business owners, we do need those external validations like awards to remind us that, we're doing well.
Yeah, I didn't think I did, but I always knew I'd like the star next to my name as a kid. So I'm just not one for the recognition. Okay, I got it. I can do it. I think it makes me nervous though. Like, okay, how can I top this? I think that's what all high achievers think.
Yeah, exactly. What does success look like to you?
Working less. So that's success to me is having an automated business where things just naturally roll. Of course, there are going to be bumps in the road in every day, but working less. So when your business systems are in order, to me, that's the most successful thing I could ever have.
the number one thing you'd recommend to marketing a fast growing business?
Oh, I'm a little bit of an old, like I can only speak for real estate and kind of what I've done. And I'm a little bit of a hybrid old mix of old school and new school. Find a blend that works best for you, meaning I'm okay with still paper marketing and old school kind of door knocking, although my system is a little bit more specific to that now, where I'm only going to homeowners that I know who will answer the door as opposed to everyone on the block. But I also blend that with some social media. Yep. And old school networking. I think that's key. Having a dirty dozen in your back pocket, those 12 people that you know are going to refer you business or who you can refer business to, it has been key for me.
Great. And how did you fund your business?
With my credit card, of course.
I think more than half business owners do it that way.
I had to start somewhere. I mean, in the beginning, we don't have any marketing money.
Yeah.
When you're first starting out. So it was still holding on to a paycheck part-time job at the time too, and balancing everything. But that was the beginning, basically a lot of credit cards and being in, a little bit of debt here. But finding partners again, yep, to partner with, knowing that accepting half a loaf of bread on a commission is better than no loaf at all.
Yep.
And finding, again, my dirty dozen who would partner with me in some of the marketing that I was doing. For example, on Zillow, finding the mortgage person that would assist with that, or even, a bus stop sign that maybe an insurance person wouldn't mind coming along with me on it.
If you were to start up today with plenty of funding, would you go into your industry?
Yes. I love real estate. I mean, I really, really do. It is a way for me to constantly change on it every day. Although what I do is repetitive, it's still changing because it's different people and different players involved. Yeah. So that's what I really love about real estate. But yeah, if I had the money, I would definitely go into it because I know I would be promoting my brand even more. So that would just be more growth for me.
Yeah. And out of interest, have you, dived into owning your own real estate as well? Property investment?
Yeah. I mean, that's the great part about real estate. We come across deals every day and we just have to be ready. I was lucky enough to be mentored by an investor himself, who kind of helped me discover those properties and helped fund and go into projects with me on them. And yeah, that's when I started my own investing in multifamilies, single family homes as well. We're getting to the point where we may be able to even fund other investors on their projects.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I've got a mate I went to university with here in Australia. He spends 4 months of the year in the USA after the GFC. He's a couple of years younger than me, but after the GFC, flew to the USA, bought a Harley, rode around the US, bought 50 properties, and has done very well out of it. He's culled that down to 10 or 14 now, I think. But he's also focusing on trailer parks, which I couldn't believe the return that you can get by buying a bit of a rundown trailer park, doing up the trailers. It's long-term secure rentals. Yeah, he's loving it.
Long-term rentals?
Yeah.
That's nice. I mean, the rental market is great. I think having, again, those multiple sources, whether you're fixing and holding, it depends on the scenario. I mean, right now we're buying up properties, fixing them up, putting mortgages on them, fixing them up, and then doing the refinancing, cashing out, so that everything becomes liquid. It's pretty interesting what you can really do.
Yeah, sounds like you've got your own real life Monopoly board.
I'm trying here. I just want to keep passing go and skip that jail thing.
That's right. Can you outline the most stressful point in your small business growth journey so our audience can learn from it?
It was definitely the most stressful was when we changed brokerages. The most stressful point was I had growth that first year when we first initiated, and then that second year at the brokerage, my commissions dropped. And I was like, what the hell did I do wrong? Like I was doing the same thing over and over. That was really, really stressful. But I think it was the springboard that I needed to kind of bounce back and be like, let's go. All right. You just keep going and going and going. It was stressful because I didn't understand what I had done wrong at the time. And I think now looking back, I'm able to recognize that I wasn't aligning myself with the right people or the right clients to work with.
Yep. Now that's good that you learned from it. And that's very important to understand who your niche or niche, I think is how you pronounce it over there, is, and really hone in on that. Great.
Yeah, that came from a little bit of science and understanding personality profile.
Yep.
I use the DISC assessment to really now to like analyze and assess people to know who I'm speaking to. And I found that niche market and working with investors, builders, and strong DC personalities.
Yeah, I use DISC as well. I was going to say that you have certainly have to be a high D yourself.
I am. I'm a high D, high C, no I or S at all.
Yeah, me too. No bullshit. Yeah.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's why I knew, after studying that and understanding who I was, I'm like, I need to be working with more investors. I need to be working with more builders because it's just gonna be a natural attraction for the both of us.
And it's really good to be able to tailor your communication style when you understand what quadrant that person is. Then you've taken it another step further, which is mainly to deal with those quadrants that you find work best with you. But even just general communication. If you're talking with a high S, for example, I changed the way I talk.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really powerful.
Yep, very.
What area in business do you feel you've had to work on the most to add the greatest value?
I guess the area of business that I had to work on the most was really marketing, because I don't come from a sales background either. And I'm an introvert. So how the heck do I promote myself, right? How do I get out there? And I found how I promote myself out there was getting in front of a lot larger audience, because I'm a teacher by nature. So I was natural in front of the classroom, right? That came easy. So giving buyer classes or for first-time home buyers was easy for me to give the data and the facts to people while speaking to them and giving a presentation. Hosting a home selling seminar was easy, and then going into a networking group and telling people what I do. So those were the ways that I kind of flourished, even being an introvert.
What have you enjoyed the least about managing fast growth?
Oh, the least? The changes that have to happen all the time.
Yep.
The changes, it becomes difficult to manage, right? Because I'm still working in my business. So in order for me to manage those changes, I have to be working on the outside and more of an administrator.
Yep.
And, my administrator right now is more like a transaction coordinator. She manages the back office and paperwork and any deals that we have from contract to close. But the changes and the technology that have happened in order for me to manage and keep up with them have been the most difficult in my growth journey.
And what do you love most about growing a small business?
I guess it would be the financial freedom that comes along with it. As a single mom, I really struggled to put that chicken on the table. And in my book, Become a Rockstar Real Estate Agent, we were just eating macaroni and cheese all the time. Because that's all we could afford to eat. But now that I've grown the business though in the way that it has, spending more time at home has been my great gift back to myself.
Yeah, great. What has been the biggest mindset shift for you in your small business growth journey?
Having more of a holistic approach to business. And why holistic approach? I mean, having this mind, body, and spirit approach to business where we encompass personal growth to treat our mind and to make sure we do away with all negative, not all, but negative thoughts and devilish people and things that are out there.
Yep.
Treating my body as a temple in the food that I put into it. And I don't know what you're eating, Troy, but I might have to send over some over.
It's
right.
pizza.
But just but just treating your body, as it is a temple, and that you put what you put in, and what the foods that you eat are going to be, what comes out, so if I'm not eating properly, obviously I'm going to be tired, and that's going to affect my business. And the third component of that is, quenching your thirst and your soul by having a relationship with your higher power, and whether you call that God, nature, or the universe.
Yep.
Having a relationship, an intimate relationship with your spiritual creator, I think has helped my business as well.
Great. What is the number one habit you think a small business owner needs to develop and maintain?
I would say one of the small habits is scheduling and block planning your day.
Yep.
I know what I'm doing from 5 a.m. till 10 at night, right? And everything was calculated and written down and put on a calendar. I knew that I was better prospecting in the morning than I was after 12 o'clock. So, I prospected in the morning and did all administrative work in the afternoon and met with clients then. So that would be one of the small things. As real estate agents, I think, we tend to not look at ourselves as a business. So incorporating you as you incorporated, meaning, have an LLC or a sole proprietorship, S or C corp here, so that you're able to pay yourself as an employee, and reinvest money into your business. That would be your business, and of course save the 30% for taxes.
Yep. Jump over to growasmallbusiness.com and leave your details to get a short 2-minute email I send on Fridays to help small business owners like you become better leaders. I include some reading or professional development resources I've discovered in the last week. Can you talk to how you've added people to the team, some wins, mistakes, and advice for those listening?
Yeah, that's good. I mean, right now to my team, like I said, it's just an assistant, and I'm cool with that. I really like the way my system is running with just one person at this time. But in the beginning, it was a struggle finding the right fit.
Yep.
Because when money is low, you're making money, but now you have to pay an employee. It was like, oh, how do I do this? So in the beginning, it was just like, okay, I'm going to pay someone who will accept the cheapest amount of money, right? Yeah. But the work and the job, obviously, you get what you pay for there. And I think that was a mistake. But I needed it as a way for me to figure things out too. Another mistake would be, searching for family and friends who I thought could do the job. And then they're just like, oh, I'm not really doing anything, or they found no meaning in it.
Yep.
Trying to put the word out there. But I think what I found now is someone who's professional and who has done it before, and has definitely managed businesses in the way that I need it. She's done it in the past now too.
Great. Tell our audience how you've handled balance.
Balance in like work life, or?
Yeah, answer it any way you want.
Balance. Balance for me has been, oh gosh, I guess it was difficult in the beginning, but now I work from home all the time. So that's really
COVID. Sorry, you worked from home before COVID hit?
I was a little bit, but not as much. During COVID, I mean, definitely we were all home. We were all on, mandates, executive order. We're still under executive order here in New York, not for COVID, but for, I think it's gun control. So we still can't prospect out there. We can't make cold calls, is what I'm trying to say, actually.
Yep.
So the work-life balance has been good to work from home because I'm able to do more. And I don't just mean household chores. I mean, going into the office takes time. It would be a 30-minute drive. Yep. Coming home from the office is another 45 minutes here in New York. So I've gained more time back in finding the balance by working from home. which I'm kind of grateful for. A lot of real estate agents during COVID didn't know what to do. I just shifted my business to online. To me, I just saw it as pretty simple, which is why I kind of saw a change in a platform in business, in brokerages, excuse me, because they were able to be a little bit more diversified and have more technology to offer me as well as my clients to work more from home and to get more sales done more quickly.
How much professional development have you invested in yourself over the years?
I can't answer that because it's a ton.
Shitloads is the answer.
It is definitely a shitload. I mean, I couldn't put a number on it, but I mean, I have a coach. I've always had a coach.
Yep. Well, that was the next question. If you mentioned your mum was your mentor, but any other like mentors or coaches?
Yeah, in the beginning, she was my mentor, right? And I realized that I needed more. I wanted more. So I knew I had to invest. And I'm glad I used that word, because if I thought of it as spending my own money, I wouldn't have spent, the $12,000 that it was to invest in a coach at that time. But yeah, I probably spent $10,000 a year.
Yep, great. That coach, what area were they helping you with?
Sales in general. Again, coming from an educator's background, I didn't have the verbiage to kind of talk to people.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was comfortable talking to a group of people, but to speak to someone one-on-one, was really difficult to me. And then my biggest hang up, or my biggest head trash, was talking about money.
Yes.
So my business sales coach really helped me kind of overcome those blockages.
Yeah, I think it is common with a lot of people that don't like talking about money and skirt around the issue.
I mean, you grow up with this guilt, like you're not supposed to be talking about that, right? So
exactly. Yeah, where obviously it should be the other way around. It's so healthy.
Exactly.
It's something I talk with my daughter about a lot, and we're actually writing some books on finance or money at the moment for kids. So.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Do you have a board of directors or advisors?
No.
It's all right.
I kind of like it that way, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do. I mean, which is why I switched brokerages as well. I was tired, just like I left teaching because I didn't like the red marks. I was, stagnant and still with the people who I was surrounding myself with, because they're really, they were halting me from growing even more.
Yep. All right, Jennifer, on to our final 5 questions. What do you think is the hardest thing in growing a small business?
Getting started. Just taking that leap.
Yep.
From whatever you were doing before into a new project, I think that's the hardest step.
It's a pretty scary chasm to have to jump over. Safe, secure job, and you've never run a business before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite business book which has helped you the most?
I don't know if it's a business book, but it's a book that I read called, oh gosh, and now I'm going to goof up the name of the book. Make them beg to be your client.
Right. We'll add that in the show notes. Yeah, I haven't read that one.
Dr. Angela Lauria, she's the author of the book.
Yeah. Okay. Any great podcasts or online learning tools you use for your own professional development?
Yeah, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I mean, I can't think of one that just stands out to me at this moment, but online tools, my calendar and Calendly. At this point, I'm always asking people to book appointments through my Calendly link.
How good is Calendly? I love it.
Oh yeah, it's great. I know. I just have the free version too, and it works out. What more do I need?
One tool you would recommend to help grow a small business?
One tool I would recommend. Oh gosh, tool. I didn't expect that one, Troy. A tool. I can't think of any. I think just any kind of technology these days that you can, I'm going to say right now, the light from my camera to make my face look pretty.
Never know that one before. Finally, my favorite question. What would you tell yourself on day one of starting out?
I would tell myself, you're going to fail, but it's okay.
Well, thanks for your time today, Jennifer. I think the audience get a lot of value out of what you shared with us. Congratulations on your journey, almost 10 years, coming up to 10 years after the switch from teaching. So congratulations.
Oh, great, Joy. It's been thank you for having me as a guest. Thank you.
That's it. Thanks for listening. Please leave a review in iTunes or whatever platform you listen to us on. It means more small business owners will find our cast and help people with their business growth journey.